A lot of people don't realize when it comes to drugs in your system, they don't realize that cannabis can stay in your system for about 28 days. Cocaine can stay for 3 or 4 days. Amphetamines for about the same period of time. And the difficulty with that is that even though you may have done nothing wrong when you were stopped at one of these mandatory intoxiliser checkpoints, if you're required to give a specimen of saliva and it shows up the presence of cocaine that you had 3 days ago, you'll be arrested. And if you're convicted in court, you're put off the road for something that happened 3 days before you drove. So some of these drugs are long-lasting. They're staying in your system for quite some period of time. And even though they're no longer acting on your central nervous system and they're not causing you to be impaired, you can be punished for them 3 or 4 days after you've even consumed them. And in some cases, a week or 2 weeks afterwards. It's pretty harsh. Most people don't even know that, but that's unfortunately the way it is. Drink driving is different to other areas of law. In virtually every other area of law, bar revenue offences, the state is obliged to prove the case against you beyond a reasonable doubt, and you're not required to help them do that. You're not required to help the state prosecute you. In drink driving, you are. You have to give evidence against yourself in drink driving in the form of a breath specimen or a blood specimen or a urine specimen. And that goes against about 300 or 400 years of common law jurisdiction where the state was required to prove its case against you. And it was reversed for drink driving, but it was reversed on public policy grounds. It was deemed to, if you were going to be requiring the public to give evidence against themselves in the form of a blood or breath or urine specimen, the corresponding safeguards had to be that the structures in place to protect the citizen against an overweening power of the state would have to be kept very high. So if you're required to effectively give evidence against yourself, the state's required to follow a set of procedures, and if they don't do it, the case may collapse on those grounds. So it's different to most areas of law. You have to help the state in some way. How do I get off with drink driving? People think it's scientific. There is some formula or method. There isn't really. There never is when it comes to law, because the law is dealing with people, humans, judges, guards, clerks, solicitors, and the human is somebody and a collection of people they're just not precise. There is no scientific way. Sometimes it comes down to luck. Maybe a witness doesn't turn up. Maybe a guard gives bad evidence. It can be something as simple as that, but there's no hard and fast rule.